Hello, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another reaction video. It's time for the final episode of season 1 of the Tudors, episode number 10. It's finally here. Really looking forward to wrapping the season up. I started this show not having watched a single episode, and I've always been a fan of the Vikings, which was created by the same writer, Michael Hirst. And I've always been a fan of the English monarchy, all the way back to the Saxon kings, and even Henry VIII is one of those monarchs that get always studied a lot. You have a lot of books about him. He was a really, first of all, important figure because of the Reformation of the Church, of course. But also his dealings with his wives. He had like 6 wives. He had 2 of them beheaded, and really colorful character. So a lot of people read a lot of books about him, and so have I. I find the history, the Tudor reign of England, really interesting. But for some reason, I never watched this show, and so now with the YouTube channel, I thought it's finally time. I have to watch it, and it's just one of those shows, that you want to watch, but every time you say I'm going to watch it, something else comes along, and you're going to watch that first, and it gets postponed and pushed. And I thought it's like it's time now. We have to watch it. And overall, this season has been great. I really enjoyed it. There were some lesser episodes, and there were some really good episodes, but overall, it was pretty good season. Even the lesser episodes were pretty good. There weren't like really bad episodes among them. So I enjoyed it a lot. And with shows like this, I'm always curious to see how they change things. Because a lot of this stuff that we see on this show is of course made up. Nobody knows when Anne Boleyn and Henry were together in their bedroom and they were talking what was said. Nobody knows that. Stuff like that wasn't written down. So, for drama reasons, drama effects, a lot of stuff gets, made up. But the overall storyline, the overall history, I thought was pretty good. And they changed a lot of things. And I said so in every reaction to every episode, things that I know of that they changed. It wasn't really, really bothered by it, by the things that they changed. There were some big changes. But that's always one of the things that I look for when I watch an historical show or movie. What things do they change? What things do they actual history put they in? So that's always great. And overall the season, the costumes look amazing. The CGI is for a TV show from that year. It's pretty old already. It looks pretty good. And like I said, the costumes look amazing. Sometimes the sets look a little bit, especially the indoor castle stuff, it looks, you can clearly see that it's not in a real castle. And I'm not too bothered by it. So overall great season. And now time for the final episode. The previous episode was a lot about the downfall of Wolsey. He's been really struggling to get the annulment from the Pope, but the Pope keeps just stalling and saying, I can't make a decision. He sent a cardinal over to London together with 2 guys that went to Rome, and Cardinal Campeggio is his name, I think it is. And even his ruling is like, we're not going to make a ruling, and the Pope has to do it, but the Pope is in exile. He was driven from the Vatican. So Henry is pissed. He's had enough. He wants an annulment, and he's even threatened to separate himself from the Catholic Church. Wolsey has threatened the same. I think he even got physical with the cardinal. He kind of beat him up and pulled his ear. And even he was harassing his servants and beating them. So and last episode, his downfall was complete, and he was arrested and or put in isolation. And I think this episode is going to be more of that. We're going to see more probably how they gonna resolve this thing about Wolsey. I know what happened in real life, of course, with him. So I'm curious to see how they are gonna show it on this episode. So let's just get started and let's watch the episode. This is the Tudors season 1, episode number 10, the season finale. What the hell is he doing? That's a awkward way to start an episode. He looked like he's in some pain or something. I don't think he's masturbating with a guy with him. Or maybe he does. I don't know. Holy shit. So he's masturbating and he has a servant there with like a bowl or something, you know, has to catch all the sperm and it's crazy. Imagine somebody asking you, you know, what is your function? I'm the royal sperm catcher. Ah, crazy.
My lords and councillors, there is a great deal of work to do.
The Privy Council.
Many things were done without my knowledge or my approval, but such proceedings will stop in the future.
Done by Wolsey, he means.
Your Grace will be appointed President of the Council, jointly with the Duke of Suffolk.
Your Majesty.
He's not happy about that. Yeah, Suffolk isn't happy about that, because Brandon, he's new royalty, and Suffolk is old royalty, so he looks down on him.
He was attainted, but not for treason. Which means he still lives, and so long as he lives, he remains a danger both to the realm and to us.
He's far away in York. In disgrace?
Yeah, that's true, you know, he was allowed to live in exile. I think he even was allowed to remain the Bishop of York. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, like I said, you know, he was even allowed to remain, I think, a bishop. And later on he was accused of treason. And we'll have to wait and see if they're going to show that, but they probably will.
Surely the king never meant you to live so wretchedly. After all, you're still Archbishop of York.
Well, perhaps it's not the king's.
Like I said, he remained the bishop of archbishop.
You mean that cow Anne Boleyn?
Indeed, sir. Which is why I'm writing her this letter.
Even if she's the cause of all our misery?
Well, yes. Since she's the cause, she can also be the cure.
That makes sense, but I don't think she's going to help you.
Mr. Latimer said that Holy Scripture should be read in the English tongue of all Christian people, whether priest or layman. He raged against the gilding of images.
Cromwell was like, I agree with that, but I can't say anything.
You condemn all reformers as heretics?
Wolsey was far too soft on them.
Shit. That's not good news.
Will you burn them?
He will.
This belief that the Pope and the clergy possess separate power and authority is contrary to Scripture. The king...
If he only knew what book Henry was reading now.
This book is a book for me, and for all kings.
And there are other books like
But
it.
not for Thomas More.
I should like to read them. Now that I've taken power unto myself, I shall work day and night if necessary to resolve things.
He's happy with that.
The need for reformation in the church is manifest. The emperor has a duty to promote it, as do I in my own domain.
Yeah. I think he's shocked what he's hearing.
Your Majesty.
Ambassador?
We can't say anything about it, you know?
I'm surprised you have so much time.
To do what?
To do nothing.
What are you saying?
Aren't you supposed to be running the country?
Yeah. Aren't you supposed to be in mourning? His wife just died.
It's infinitely tedious. They're all liars, hypocrites, and middle-aged men.
Would you prefer them to be women?
My friend, if all ambassadors were beautiful women, I'd be serving my country day and night.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Let me present my ward. Miss Catherine Brooke. This is Sir Anthony Nivert.
Miss Catherine?
Sir?
Anthony's one of our finest horsemen.
Except for when I fall off.
Are you enjoying your walk?
Yes, Your Grace.
Pretty little thing, isn't she?
Indeed she is.
I'm gonna marry her.
Yeah, he's definitely not grieving anymore.
I thought, sir, that with the Cardinal fallen and sent away, that circumstances in this country might be changed for the better, more tolerant.
Nope. I think the guy you're across now is even worse.
You seem to suggest that the real aim of the Church is to seize all power, lordship, obedience, and dignity from the king. In fact, you go further. You claim that the Church itself is a source of rebellion and disobedience against the king, don't you, Mr. Fish?
He's like, shit, what have I done?
Those who show us the way to heaven. But then you don't believe in that either, do you, Mr. Fish?
Okay, yeah. This guy is definitely has a problem.
It is also heresy.
Yeah, and we all know what they did with heretics.
What is it? What has she done?
She is wearing purple. And purple is the color of royalty.
That's a bold statement.
You know, I sometimes wish that all Spaniards were at the bottom of the sea.
Mistress Boleyn, you should not abuse the Queen's honor with such language.
I care nothing for Catherine. I would rather see her hanged than acknowledge her as my mistress.
Damn. She feels untouchable.
We would suggest that Your Majesty canvass the opinion of theologians at colleges around Europe. Their sentence would be soon pronounced and could be implemented with little enough industry. And by that simple measure, I trust that Your Majesty's troubled conscience might be pacified.
Will you write a paper showing your argument?
Of course he will.
And then I command you as a royal agent to visit the universities in Europe. I want the opinion of their theological faculties as soon as possible.
Yeah, this Cromwell guy is smart. He's really smart. Oh, they're gonna burn him already. I think I read something about this guy, Fish. I don't think he was burned at all. So that's one thing that they changed. I think he died of the plague or something.
Contrary to the law of God, then you will be spared the great pains you must otherwise endure.
He looks scared, but I don't think he's gonna do it.
Recant. You still have a moment.
The Lord is my shepherd. I can want nothing.
You know, in the beginning of the season, Thomas More came across like a really reasonable guy, you know, but now he seems like he's completely off the hinges, and I don't know.
Thy staff and thy sheep, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table for me against mine enemy.
Man, horrible way to die.
That I may dwell in the Lord's house wherever.
Yeah, it hurt for a while. You know, the heat definitely hurts. Until all your nerve endings are gone, then... but before that happens, you probably passed out from the pain or... Horrible. Yeah, now we can't look. First he condemns the guy and then he doesn't have the stomach to look. Found his resolve again. Big party going on. With Anne Boleyn there. Queen Catherine is nowhere to be seen.
I've decided to ennoble you and your family. You are to be created Earl of Wiltshire and Ormond, and I'm also appointing you Lord Privy Seal. George will become Lord Rochford.
Finally got his way. More and more titles coming his way.
I had always fancied that the king, after pursuing his course for some time, would turn away.
How can you not lose hope? He doesn't have anybody left. Everybody is celebrating, having a party, and he sits there all alone.
Thank you for what you have done for my father, for my whole family.
There's more.
There's more?
I've made alterations to Wolsey's Earl Palace at York Place. And you said you liked it. I'm giving it to you.
I would only be unhappy if you ever stopped loving me.
London would have to melt into the Thames first.
Nope. He will stop loving her pretty fast.
It seems to me that nothing is wanted but a priest to give away the nuptial rings and pronounce the blessing.
God forbid that should happen.
It will happen, but now, not now.
The King's Majesty is more inclined towards the reformers than you know.
Oh, I don't think so. I know him better than you do, Excellence. His deepest instincts are traditional and faithful.
Clearly you don't know him that well anymore.
I have bad news. I happen to know that the King has sent Wolsey an intaglio portrait of himself. So it is traditionally a sign of goodwill. It may presage a reconciliation.
That would be bad news for those guys.
And Satan fell from heaven. Was he ever invited back?
You were.
Yes, he was.
I have had a reply to my letter.
From Mistress Boleyn? What did she say?
Probably something in the lines of go fuck yourself.
Then our hopes are over.
No. No. I have resolved to write to another lady who is far greater.
Queen Catherine.
Far more likely to be kind.
Yeah. Now she's greater. When you were still in power, you wouldn't give him the light of day.
Please, be seated.
Majesty?
Let's see what he is going to do to humiliate her now.
You ought to invite her to court. You could watch her dancing and playing. It might please you.
Catherine.
I hear that several of your agents have been sent abroad to canvass theological opinion about the divorce.
He's like, how do you know that?
That votes for you. I could find 1,000 who would vote for me.
Yeah, something definitely changed with her demeanor. Previously, she was always trying to please him and try to show her affection, but I think that's over.
Your Graces are presidents of this council, and yet I hear nothing from you on these matters, nor any other matter.
Yeah, you have to be honest with him.
I used to think the Cardinal vain, self-serving, and greedy, just as you told me. But now I understand the burden he carried.
This is not good news for them.
And made him abuse the considerable gifts God gave him.
And yet, he is a better man than any of you for managing this kingdom's matters.
They don't like to hear that. Oh shit.
The Emperor will offer his financial and moral support and insist that Wolsey be reinstated as Chancellor.
Do you think it could work?
Why do you want it to work, man? Come on.
There are calls for a reformation.
Let's see if he speaks his mind or...
All lawful. necessary and well done.
Well done.
Yeah, they were well done after they were finished burning. Okay, so Henry doesn't say how he really feels about the church. That's interesting.
That the University of Paris, the greatest prize of all, has declared in your favor.
And Italy?
I confess that the universities there are divided, but Padua, Florence, and Venice have all declared for your majesty.
That's some good news.
Spain. Catherine's country.
Spain is against.
That was to be expected.
The Emperor refused to see me.
And His Holiness?
The Pope simply gave me this edict to bring to your majesty.
Also not a surprise.
It refuses to allow your majesty permission to remarry while the papal curia is deciding your majesty's case.
Oh, this gonna set him off again.
I don't believe Christ had apostles. Not even St. Peter. Those men were all liars and charlatans who pretended to follow Christ and speak in his name. And they built a church upon their lies.
He's like, what the hell is going on at this court?
What do you know about him?
Sir, I know that Wolsey sought the help of the Emperor and
the Pope?
Yes, Your Honor, His Holiness the Pope against His Majesty.
That's treason. That's enough to seal the deal on Wolsey.
Conspired with Queen Catherine because he said it was the only way that he could be
restored to power.
Yes, yes.
The king must know of this.
Now you know the truth, you must act against him.
Yep, he must.
In the name of the king! Get out! Get out of bed!
They arrested him. Oh man.
Thomas Wolsey! You're arrested by order of the king and charged with high treason. You'll be taken from here to London where you will be tried.
There, John.
Guards.
No tears.
So I think they changed it up as well. He was never arrested in real life. He was ordered to report to court to stand treason for trial for treason. He was never arrested and brought there.
And everything in it to remember you by.
Guards, Chancellor.
Yeah, this looks way more dramatic, of course.
Move on.
Yeah, so this is one of those changes, you know, that I know maybe a little bit controversial, but it's understandable. This makes for good dramatic television, of course. Where did they put him? In the tower? So yeah, like I said, this never happened. He was never arrested and brought to London. He was definitely not put in the tower. He was, you know, ordered to report to London to stand trial for treason, which he did. He got on his way, traveled to London, but while going there, he fell sick, and you know, the opinions are a little bit mixed about what really happened to him. But yeah, the overall consensus is that he had a heart attack or a heart problem, and there are also some talks. You can read something on the internet that he hit his head. You know, that may have happened or not, but it certainly was not the cause of death. You know, I think it was just the strain and of all the stress and impending doom lingering above him, that you know, maybe he had a heart attack, or you know, he got really sick and he died. And so yeah, they changed this. Like I said, I understand it. It's much more dramatic, of course, when he is pulled away from his mistress, pulled from his house. He's arrested by Brandon, one of his adversaries. You know, it would be maybe a little bit boring if you get to see him go on the road by himself, travel to London. That's not really how you want to major villain of a season to go down, so they changed that. I can understand it. That's a pretty meager lunch. Piece of cheese and an apple. Making fun of Wolsey.
For all that I have done, and for all that I am yet to do, there can be no forgiveness.
Does he really believe that, or? I don't know. Wolsey going to hell, according to them. There's the devil. You're gonna judge Wolsey, take him to hell? Fucking hell, man. And the music is amazing in this scene. What is he gonna do?
Welcome to hell!
Getting the sense that he's going to kill himself. Yeah, slit his own throat. Holy shit. Okay, so this definitely never happened. Now let's see how Henry reacts to the news.
Cardinal Wolsey is dead.
Oh, he seems shocked.
How did he die?
Took his own life.
No one must ever know. Do you understand? No one. Never.
Oh, this is the way of them explaining why they diverted from history. So the official history is that he didn't kill himself because Henry didn't want anybody to know.
Go!
That has to be hard for him, you know. I think he was his most loyal advisor, friend for a very long time. So, you know, even if they fall out of favor with each other or they have an argument, still hurts for him.
There is also a statute before Parliament which recognises that in matters temporal and spiritual the king is above the law and shall give account to God alone. What can be done?
Nothing, man. Both of you are getting your head chopped off, which really happened.
No man could control him. We're standing on the edge of the abyss. God knows what shall become of us.
I know, I just told you. What are they doing in the woods? They're going to have sex now? Seems like it. She always said, I'm not going to have sex with you until we're married. So she probably thought now was the right time to do it. Wolsey's out of the way. Wolsey's dead. He won't bother us anymore. Can now safely have sex. Let's see how long it takes before he has another mistress. So, that was it. The season finale of season 1 of the Tudors, episode number 10, is in the books. And yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode. Like I said in the reaction, they changed some things, especially, you know, with Wolsey's arrest. I think I explained it. You know, he was never arrested and brought to London. He was never held at the Tower. That never happened. I will explain it again. He was ordered to report to London to stand trial for treason. And he obliged. He got on his way to London, and while going there, he turned sick, or he had a heart attack, and that's how he died. He most definitely did not kill himself. Maybe they said so in this episode that that he actually did, but you know, Henry said nobody must ever find out. He said so to Cromwell, and then they fabricated that story that he had a heart attack or something. Could that have happened in real life? I don't know. I think the overall consensus is that he had a heart attack. He was never in London, so he could have killed himself on the road, of course. Maybe, we don't know. But yeah, the official statement is that he got sick, had a heart attack or something, and that he died. He most definitely did not kill himself. Do I think that he would ever kill himself as a man of God? He was a cardinal. If you kill yourself, that's a sin, and you go straight to hell. So, do I think that a cardinal would ever kill himself? Probably not, because getting into heaven is what those guys live their whole lives for. They serve God, so to be awarded entry into heaven, that is a reward in itself. And going to hell is, of course, not something that you want. And even if you're not a cardinal, you don't want to go to hell. But the statement that he gave, he was praying to God, and he said, I'm not worthy, basically. And he hasn't talked to God in a while. And what he said was that he wasn't a good Christian. He didn't talk to God as much as he should have. And even though he didn't consider himself a bad man, he wasn't worthy of God's praises. And in that statement, you could read between the lines and say, he thought himself that he deserved to go to hell, that he didn't deserve to get into heaven because he didn't serve God how he should have. And that's a fact. He didn't serve God as he should have. He was more interested in serving the king and his own interests, and he was more busy with gaining more power and enrichment on earth than have the ultimate goal to get into heaven. So that if that was really the case, if he thought about himself that way, that would explain. He doesn't feel like I should be in heaven, so I'm going to kill myself. But I think for people living in those days, hell was something that they were very afraid of. So it seems a little bit unlikely. But in the context of this series, I think they did a pretty good job writing it that way. They decided for some reason, he kills himself, and I think giving him that speech gave the character enough motivation to do it. And I think they decided to kill him off, or to let himself take his own life. They wanted him to go out kind of heroic in a great way, instead of him having a heart attack and dying. That's if you look at it from a writer's perspective and from a television show, a drama show, it's of course a better death than a guy being on the road and having a heart attack. And is essentially one of the main villains of this season. So yeah, there always has to be some payoff for people watching. And when you're hating Wolsey, you want him to suffer. You want some big conclusion, some big payback. And in this regard, they gave him that like that. And if he would have just died on the road of a heart attack, it would be kind of like, meh. Is this how he gets his ending? So from a writer's standpoint, I get it. From the television drama series, I get it. But it's definitely, I don't think, is the real history. And the season is wrapped up now. Lots of things are happening. Thomas More is really cracking down on the heretics and burning a couple of them. And but he fears that the king has been affected by the Protestants' way, or the Reformation. And that's one of the things that we're probably going to see in season number 2. And Thomas More himself in real life got his head cut off because he didn't want to acknowledge the fact in public that the king was head of the church. And that's part of the Reformation that's going to happen. He's going to steer away from the Catholic Church, and he's going to declare himself leader of the church. And Thomas More will openly decline to acknowledge that fact, and that's why he will be executed. And that's the same with Bishop Fisher. He also gonna get his head chopped off for the same reason. And that's one thing we're gonna probably see in season 2. And also the marriage between him and Anne Boleyn will probably happen. They had sex at the end of the episode. I don't know if that happened in real life, of course. But you could see a flashback to what her father said, maybe you should prolong his interest, meaning you shouldn't have sex with him, because if you have sex with him, he's going to grow bored of you. And she should have waited until they are married. And she tried to cut it off at the ending, he couldn't orgasm. But he was very frustrated with that. So we'll have to wait and see if he remains interested. He probably will, because he will marry her. But, like I said in the reaction, how long it's going to take before he has another mistress. So, a lot of things to look forward to for season 2. And, overall, like I said in the beginning, this is a great season and a good way to wrap it up. It was a good season finale. And, so for now, thanks for watching. Please leave your comments. I really would like to think what you thought of this season. And also this episode, and about the characters and their motivations and what they did. Maybe what happened to Wolsey. Do you agree with it? How they portrayed it? Or, just leave your comments. I would like to hear from you. Really great to also always have a discussion with people about our favorite movies and TV shows. And I can't wait to read that. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well. That will really help me out a lot. And I hope you will join me on season 2. Probably we'll do something else in between seasons, different reactions. Just keep your eyes on the channel, and you will see what that's gonna be like. So I'm gonna record some different stuff before I jump into season 2. Always like to take a little breather instead of just going straight into season 2. And that's coming to the channel also. So thanks for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.